So, I've got a little bit of a situation on my hands. You see, at least at the time of this recording, Synduality Echoes of Ada should be coming out in about a day or so. If you don't know, Synduality is a mecha extraction shooter, PvE VP sort of deal. And it's one that I've been waiting for a pretty long time. So long, in fact, that it actually got announced. It got announced, then an anime for it got announced, released, and now this game is coming. And the anime that came out was actually pretty good. It's actually not that bad. It had a very interesting setting, some decent characters and stuff, and it got me interested more in the world. I was going to treat the game as just another one of those, just another game that you play for the mech combat and then drop when you get bored of it, but the setting seemed interesting in the show, so I figured I would take the game a little bit more seriously. But the problem here is that it is a live service game, and there have been a lot of failing live service games recently by a bunch of different developers and publishers. What makes this particularly troublesome for me, though, is that it's Bandai Namco. They have a track record of releasing public service games and then killing them when they don't perform properly. And even games that aren't live service games sometimes get less than stellar launches. I'm talking about the most recent remaster of Freedom Wars, another game that I've been waiting for a very, very long time. And I actually did play a little bit of it. I had a good amount of fun. But that game had changes that nobody asked for from the Vita version, as well as a bunch of performance issues, so I ended up refunding it. Because to be completely honest with you, I still have a functioning Vita, as well as a Vita TV. I have no reason to subject myself to an inferior PC port. Like, they didn't put any effort in at all, and they charged a premium for that sort of game. Which brings me back to Synduality Echoes of Ada. It's an online live service game, of course. I said that earlier. But it never had an open beta. And I was unable to get into any of the closed betas. Which is suspicious. That I can remember, pretty much every single other live service game published by Bandai Namco in recent time has had some sort of open beta before its official release. Some people would say, well, oh, those were free-to-play games, but that's not really the point. Obviously, that's not like the biggest deal in the world, but it's just very abnormal, unusual, breaking the norms of what I'm used to when it comes to my expectations of Bandai Namco. And then you have this. If you go to their store page, you'll see the deluxe edition of Synduality Echoes of Ada for $69.99 USD, which will give you 7 days early to play the game, which is what's been going on now. Some people have already got their hands on the game and have been playing it, but they spent $70 to do that. And from what I can see here, it doesn't really come with much else. Deluxe edition content, a school uniform, drifter pass voucher, rename ticket, 7-day early access. So now, a PvP game like this, where people have 7 extra days, that's quite a significant head start for an extraction shooter. Granted, I haven't been able to play the game, so I have no idea how all the mechanics work. I don't know what type of advantage players are going to have who partook in this 7-day, advanced play period. But I can say that that's not a good look. So, people who played, they've been playing the game for pretty much almost 7 days. It's been like 6.5 days, doesn't really matter. But the game is sitting at mixed reviews. And pretty much all of the complaints that the comments have right now are very, very concerning. Take it from somebody who's played a lot of extraction shooters. Not all of them, but a lot of them. Um, the fact that this game cost $70 in order to get 7 days of early access. It didn't have an open beta, and people who did get the pre-release package are not happy with the game. It's sitting at 50%. It's making me think that maybe I should not pick this up and give it a try. I mean, I've been burned by Bandai Namco more than a few times in the past, and I'm not exactly looking forward to it happening again. I don't know. It's a real shame because, like I said, that anime was pretty good. And I'm in the mood for a mech game that isn't Robot Sekiro. What do you guys think? I mean, you take a game like Escape from Tarkov. If they did a wipe, but certain people who paid more got to experience the wipe 7 days in advance, they would get absolutely torn to shreds for that sort of business practice. The only reason it's not really happening here is because I'd imagine that not a whole lot of people know that this game exists or that it's an extraction shooter. That and it's an anime niche sort of deal. So it just might be ignorance that's protecting them from what is very clearly a mistake. But the fact that I've been hearing that this game doesn't have any sort of party play, like you can't join a squad with your friends or anything like that. People are losing their items when they're dying with whatever pre-order bonuses they have. There's very little mech customization and more. I don't know. This one's not smelling too good. But that could just be me being jaded again. Anything's possible. But again, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Other than the militaristic extraction shooters, honestly, I don't necessarily want an extraction shooter. I do want a mech game. I do want some sort of anime shooter that's like fun and has customization to it. It does not need to be an extraction shooter. People are thinking that I'm going to enjoy Gray Zone Warfare and what's that other one that everyone's playing? Delta Force? It's like, yeah, sure, I might like those games, but again, it's not really because it's an extraction shooter that's drawing my attention to it. I want a good shooter, in general. Anyway, that's gonna do it for me. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in another video. Okay, so I finally found a streamer who was speaking English that I could ask a little bit on the details of the game. They were playing the PS5 version of Synduality, and they also had the early access version, so they've been playing for a fair bit of time. I got a little bit more information as to what to expect, and I kind of have a better understanding of what people's complaints are when it comes to this game, and some of the mechanics that none of the promotional material that I saw detailed at any point in time. So first off, a lot of people are complaining about griefers. You know, it's a PvE extraction shooter. Most of them, I'm going to assume, have never played Escape from Tarkov, which, lucky for me, sucks to be them. But there is a player bounty list. Apparently you're not supposed to player kill people of... There's like a faction mechanic, and a good portion of player killing is looked down upon, and it actually marks you and your location for other people, as there is a player killer list and also a player killer list, PKK. Essentially, you get a bounty put on you where other people will be able to hunt you down, and the people who kill the most players are on a list, and that list is separate from the people who kill the people who kill. So it's a whole interesting bounty system that made me go, ooh, I want to try that. Sounds interesting, sounds fun. They talked a little bit about the insurance system and how it only gives you back money. It seems to be completely useless because it's very expensive to try and use, and there are a lot of parts that you cannot get by money. You have to either find them or craft them or something like that. Money is not going to be the solution. So the insurance system that they're currently employing isn't worth it from what a lot of people are saying. There are also a lot of complaints about the monetization, claiming that the game is pay to win since there are weapons and mech parts on a battle pass, which I agree that's not a good thing, but those same people are also complaining that they got those items off of the battle pass and then lost them immediately when they went into the field. There is no pre-forming parties for like squad-based content, but you can meet people in the field and then team up with them mid-sortie, mid-expedition. And there are missions that are centered around doing that, which sounds interesting, but also sounds incredibly risky if there are a lot of people going around and just killing each other. So I'm not entirely sure about that. This information makes me a little bit more willing to give the game a try and not just write it off completely. I think a lot of people misunderstood what this game was and how it was going to function, and I'm thankful to the streamer for filling me in, because a lot of this is stuff that they most definitely should have made more clear at some point in time. I think if they fix their monetization, which is something that apparently they're looking into, don't quote me on that, they're actually having maintenance at the time of this recording, which is almost midnight on the 21st of January. They're having maintenance to address some of those complaints and adding some things based off of the player feedback. So they could fix it. Do I think they're going to get rid of it completely? No, not at all. But I think that this game might actually be worth the asking price, but we'll just have to wait and see. Again, Synduality comes out on the 23rd of January, and I'm probably going to check that out.